Hey, happy Sunday. Hey, honey, thank you for being here. Yes, 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 yes. Oh my goodness. Whew. Yo, so we are officially in May. We are officially in May. Wow. Whew. When I say it out loud, like I just feel this joy within my spirit because for me, it's one step closer to summer. Yes, which I am so excited for. When I say your girl needs some rest and some downtime and some breathing room to do what I need to do, like I always say, get my life right. Because life is definitely lifing. Life is definitely lifing. And when you're busy, like me, especially when you're in the education world, it is never, ever a dull moment. Never a dull moment. And I can say that I live like for my weekends, for my breaks, for my summers. Yes, I said it. And it's been that way for a long time. So, yeah, I hope everybody is doing well on this Sunday, May 4th. I'm like, oh my God, like Sunday, May 4th. It is literally about to be Mother's Day next Sunday, which I'm excited for, by the way. Yes. So I'm going to say happy Mother's Day, pre early Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Yes. And those that are moms to be, or, just playing that role in someone's life because, God knows we need it. And it's always a blessing. Yes, always a blessing to have that mom figure in your life. Hello, hello. Thank you, Obsessed with Horror. I appreciate you for being here. Happy Sunday. Hey,
Hey,
sister.
sister. Hi. Happy
Hey,
Sunday.
girl. Yes, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
How's it going on this fine Sunday?
It's going well. It's going well. I was rushing around just to get here, but that divine timing and divine synchronicity, I am here.
Okay, I know that's right. Yes, yes. I'm
Yes.
so glad that the divine timing has made it so you can be here. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Because
Yeah,
I be doing the midst of everything.
I
And
know,
suddenly I'll
I
be like,
know.
oh snap, it's 3 o'clock. I was like, oh wait, let me go sit down.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah. Yeah, I was literally just talking about the fact that we are in May 4th, right?
Already. It's
And
crazy.
yes, yes, like
Mm.
May is here. And
Yes.
next Sunday, it's going to be Mother's Day. So I was
Yes.
literally giving an early shout out to all our moms or moms to be's or mom figures, you know,
Yes.
because it could cover a whole realm, because it takes a village.
Exactly.
It definitely
It
takes a
sure does. It
yes,
sure does. You know what? That just made me think about. Remember we was talking about connections and stuff like that before, and we
yes.
was talking about mentors, and I didn't even think about my mama. You know what I'm saying? My mama, my godmama, who I call my
Mm-hmm,
mama,
mm-hmm,
because I
mm-hmm.
don't even think of her as like a mentor. I just think of her as like my mom. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But she is, yeah, I was like thankful for her. She has been like a mother, and I can definitely call her a mentor. She has mentored me through the years, ever since I was 21 years old.
See, look at
Yeah.
that. See,
Yes.
these mom figures that have such an impact on us. Hey, Sha, thank you for coming
Mhm.
in. Hey, I appreciate you. Happy
Right.
Sunday. Happy Sunday. Yes, 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 yes. So yeah, so like these are folks that like make an impact on you, and it definitely comes to
Yes.
light like on times when Mother's Day is coming up,
Mhm.
and how they influence your life and don't even realize like the impact they have,
Right.
and that imprint that they're leaving. So
Mhm.
I can definitely appreciate that. I could definitely appreciate that, and all the supporters like moms and people that play that role.
Yeah,
Because
the mamas, the
that's
aunties.
right. I have because I got that. You got that bonus mom too. Like
Yes.
even though me and you have the same mother, you know,
Right.
same birth
Mhm.
mother, we do have those outside, influences that,
Yes.
fill in as that extra bonus mom, outside
Mhm.
of our birth mother, because
Yes.
it's like when we talk about our sister talking about being sisters, like people like be looking at us like, okay, give us that side eye. Like, no, we're really sisters. We're really sisters.
We got the same mama.
We have the same mother. We have the same
Yeah.
mother. Okay, our mother birthed us both. you know,
Mhm.
yes, we might have different dads, but we have the same birth mother. Hence,
Yeah.
us sisters, making us
Yeah.
sisters.
I
Yes.
was looking at this picture of us recently and I was like, I see similarities and stuff. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
People
You
don't see
know.
that. They don't see that. They just see the chocolate girl and the light skinned girl and don't put the connection together. Hunty, we
Right.
got all shapes, okay? All shapes,
Yes.
okay? That because because I'm chocolate and she light, don't mean we ain't sisters, okay? So,
Uh-huh.
yes, yes. Hello, welcome in. Yeah, but yeah, this is pre Mother's Day, and
Mhm.
so Mother's Day is happening next Sunday. So of course we're gonna be doing the mommy thing. So glad
Mhm.
for us to be able to come for y'all for this Sunday. And we're just gonna talk a little bit. So last week we talked about the power of manifestation. Yes.
Yes.
I gave y'all an example of how I manifested something and came to fruition, and I felt real good about it and warm and fuzzy and tingly
Mhm.
inside because we putting it out in the atmosphere.
Mhm.
Put it
So
to
see,
light.
so you see your magic working.
Okay. I'm like, yes, like I needed that in my life. I definitely needed that in
Yes.
my life. So it was the power of manifestation. So that was our topic for last week. Hello, Tuber Chad. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you
Mhm.
so much. Yes. So as a follow up to like the power of like manifestation, we're gonna go into like divine purpose and order. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's so many different alignments with that. All right. And I appreciate you. Thank you, Tuber Chad. Thank you. I appreciate the
Mhm.
support. Thank you. So I always talk about things being like in divine order. I do. I'm a strong believer in that. And I can honestly
Mhm.
say, in my wisdom years, it took me a long time to understand that things are in divine order, that things have a purpose, like things happen the way they are supposed to happen. Okay.
Mhm.
But like I said, it took years of growth and wisdom to actually understand that concept, right? So
Right, that things be lining up for you.
things, things be lining up for you. Like it's like
Mhm.
whether you think about it or you believe it, like your blueprint, like your steps are already ordered. Like
Mhm.
it might either whether that's in a good way or a bad way, but things are aligned the way they are
Mhm.
supposed to be happening, right? So that's what we talk
Yeah.
about divine order, divine purpose, right? So I'm gonna
Mhm.
let's break down the definition a little bit for our viewers in case you're not really sure or clear about what divine order or purpose is. So, divine order refers like to the ideas that everything in the universe, including human life, is arranged according to a purposeful plan established
Mhm.
by a divine being. And divine purpose in
Mhm.
this is intended goal or reason for that arrangement, right?
Mhm.
So when you go into divine order, this concept suggests that the world is not random or
Mhm.
chaotic, right? But rather structured and organized,
Mhm.
okay? In a way that aligns with a divine will. So it implies that everything from the smallest little detail to the grandest event has a place and a purpose in the overall plan.
Yes.
Yes,
I believe that for sure. What I mean? Like
yes,
just that divine intelligence,
yes,
what I mean? And yeah. And that's and like you said, like, when you, like it's like when you, um like, when you put stuff out into the universe and stuff, like you said, like how you was like wanting her to, to be there. And then it was like you said, something happened with the chair to where the plane couldn't take off. Something was just minute and simple. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
But it
yes.
was like, yeah, it's like your energy was just like, it caused that thing to move.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and it's like how but like you said, like, in our big age, it would be sometimes where it's like, even sometimes like when things be happening, it seem like things not going your way, or you
Uh-huh.
might be like running late for something, or
Right.
you miss a bus or a train or something like that, or what I mean, and but it's like, had you been on that one ahead or something, it might have, going really wrong or something like that, or maybe that bus or train, something like that, got in an accident or something, or it just made more sense for you to miss it, or what I mean, like just the way that things be like lining up. I mean, sometimes when, you seem, even when it seems like it's not going your way, but it still end up being a perfect situation.
Yes, yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes, yes. That's
Mhm.
all in divine order. That's all a part of the plan. Like they said, the smallest detail to the grandest event. So,
Yeah.
like I say, I always talk about how, like, I understand. Like I understand now that I've
Mhm.
gotten older and wiser. That everything is going according to plan. Everything is going
Yeah.
according to plan, right? Because some things might not make sense, right? So when
Right.
things start happening to flow, like the same way, like say, like you talk about, you could have been on this train at one point. Like if
Mhm.
I'm running late for work or something, right? Instead of like me getting all upset and like frazzled about it and be like, oh my God, I'm on a day, da da da. No, I should be there a certain time. I'll be like, you know what? This is all according to the plan. I'm supposed to be running late because it must be something happening that I should not be a part of, or the
Mhm.
universe is trying to keep me away from. Because if
Mhm.
I came out a little earlier, or I might have encountered or been a part of something that's actually happening right now, right?
Right.
So I definitely take heed to that when things are happening and not according to my plan. That it's a bigger plan outside of my plan.
Exactly.
Right, right,
Exactly.
right, right.
Yeah. I feel like that's like the major part.
Yes.
It's like to be able to take ourselves out of it and see that the universe is working for you.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because sometimes we
Right.
get so upset, we be angry and we be mad at ourselves or mad at somebody else, or be like, "Oh, this didn't work out," or even like rejection. Man, my
Mm-hmm.
daughter was just saying, she said rejection is redirection. We
Wow.
was like, "Okay." You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Rejection. She was like,
It's
rejection is
redirection.
redirection.
Oh my
Yes.
God. I love
Yep.
it. I love
Yep. I wish I had that wisdom when I was
it. Okay.
24.
Okay. Okay. I'm like, this new generation and these millennials, y'all like, y'all better school us.
Yes. Yes.
I'm at this age, like I think it finally came to light to me maybe probably about maybe 10, 12 years ago when I finally realized like, okay, God, like instead of me questioning, like, why is this happening? Why did this go this way? Like
Mhm.
it's not making sense. It's like now I feel like it is making sense. It was happening the way it was supposed to happen. I was supposed to
Yep.
be at this place. I was supposed to come in contact with this individual, and they were supposed to mess up and turn things upside down so my life could get back in order. you know,
Right, right. Uh-huh.
you know what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
like when I think
Mhm.
about that divine order, like you said, like that smallest detail, just like the little smallest things, like
Mhm.
really, really makes sense. Like really, really makes sense. Right.
Yep.
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 Yep. So yeah.
Like no
So
matter what it is. Yep.
okay. Okay. Hello.
Mhm.
Hello. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. Yeah. So we're just kind of
Mhm.
piggybacking on our manifestation conversation. Yes. Yeah. So like them small details. It's like pay attention to like them small details because them small details could end up being something much bigger. It might not
Mhm.
sense, or you might think that it's like, okay, why did this happen that way? Why did this get derailed? It's like
Mhm.
I think, like you said, like you think about like even having an event and something interrupts it,
Mhm.
you know, and you're like, oh man, like okay, I was supposed to do this or go here, but
Mhm.
now I can't go because this happened. Okay.
Mhm.
So it was all planned.
Mhm. Oh no, did we lose Tamika? Where are you, my sister? Speaking of,
Yeah,
oh,
I'm
there
here.
you are.
Yeah. But Google is
Mm.
doing too much right now. I'm like,
I was
not me
about to be
talking,
like,
and you
speaking of divine timing.
divine timing. I'm
Mhm.
like, not me talking, and you like, okay, I just need to shut you up for a minute. Like, what? What's that?
I was
What's that
about to be like, all right, Janae, it's your turn.
your turn to talk? Okay, I'm gonna get the floor to my lovely sis. Go ahead, give us some examples of the
Mhm.
divine plan, some divine order that happened in your life.
Oh, some divine plan. All right. Well, I think I mentioned this last week, but um, the same way, like I said, like how I had been talking about, just like or just wanting to, be performing and doing certain things and stuff. And so I was in base camp, and it happened to be a street naming ceremony happening the same day that I was in base
Mm,
camp. And
mm,
Mama Marcy, she was also in base camp with me. And so she was like, all right, that she was going to go over to the street naming ceremony. And I'm like, oh, like, you're going to leave base camp? She's like, oh, I'm just going to go at lunchtime.
mm.
And so I was like, all right. But, we only get like an hour for lunch. And, we was going to go all the way down to West Philly. So it was like, all right, we probably missed the class before and the class after.
Okay.
But I'm like, all
Mm-hmm.
right, it's no big deal. So, but we go out there, and we get there. It's not too many people there and stuff, but so I'm just kind of dancing around and stuff, and talking with some of the elders and stuff, because there was just a lot of elders there.
Mm-hmm.
And but this one elder who saw me dancing with another elder, and we was just like, what's that, like stepping and stuff, we was bopping and things. And so
Uh-huh.
he started asking about me. He's like, oh, who is that? I like her energy and
Uh-huh.
things.
Uh-huh.
Turns out, Mika, he's the producer and director of No Longer Bound. This he got a whole company, and he was like, I want her in my production. You know
See.
what I'm saying?
See.
And yep, and so and I gave him my number and everything and stuff. And then a couple other people came that knew me and stuff. And so we was out there just like having a good time and stuff. But it was like, had I not left base camp that day, and
Mm-hmm.
I saw Mama Marcy when she was about to leave. I just went and
Wow.
saw her and was like, oh, like, what you doing? You know what I mean? Like, we got, you're not going to next class, kind of thing. And she
Yeah.
was like, oh, like, I'm waiting on my Uber. She had,
Mm-hmm.
and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I'm gonna go with you. I was like, oh,
Okay.
well, I'm gonna go with you. And
Uh-huh.
so I jumped in the car with her to go out to West Philly. But I was like, you know, had I not had I not left base camp that day, I never would have met Baba Kofi and
That's
to end
something.
up being in the musical. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I just felt like just that divine, this the way everything synced up, what I mean, for us to make that connection that day. You know what I mean? So that I can end up doing some stuff that I just love to do. Cause it's like I said, being in a musical now I get to dance and sing, and it's consistent and stuff, paid rehearsals, paid shows.
That
And I was
part.
like, wow, right.
That
Yeah.
part.
So and I think about it all the time. I'll be like, what if I wouldn't have left? But what if I wouldn't have went to base camp? You
Part.
know what I'm
That
saying?
that part.
And
That
all of that, even with me being in base camp, because I ended up getting a scholarship for base camp. You know what I
see.
mean? Like I said, just the way that everything be like just falling in line. But I really, really, really believe that like the more in sync you are, that's is so when I say I really believe to be in sync, I feel like you have to meditate. You have to sit still, you have to balance yourself, you have to, put yourself first aligning your own self so that you
Mm-hmm.
can align, things outside of you can start to fall in place too. You know what I mean? But
Right.
it's like,
Right.
yep,
Right.
like, through meditation, through being still, through like centering and, what I mean? But it just seemed like that, like, no matter what, it seemed like that's how you get the things that you want. Because it's like you're attracting whether you realize you're attracting or not. You know what I'm saying?
Ah,
You know what I
okay.
mean? It's like, I mean, we be manifesting sometimes things that we don't want to manifest because, we're not in alignment or, we're not attracting what we really want to be attracting because we got toxic thoughts or, you know, but it's like,
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, when you're clearing that up and, it's like you can be more careful of what you're attracting.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and things that you're manifesting and stuff. Um,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And like,
Wow.
yeah, like you said, what's that, like practicing manifesting,
Mm-hmm.
practicing positive thoughts, being intentional about what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and the energy that you're putting out, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Right.
Um, yeah, yeah. I think that things start to just fall in place. You find yourself in the right place at the right time around the right people and stuff, yeah, because it's like you're just moving into that alignment, with who you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Right.
yeah.
Right. Right. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome
Welcome,
in.
welcome.
Yes, we're talking about divine purpose and order today because it's kind of like a piggyback to our discussion about the power of like manifestation, and like we're just diving a little deeper into like how things are according to a plan. Like it's a bigger plan, it's outside of us, and we think that we have control over everything. Like, of course it's okay to think that you're in control, but it's all in a divine order. Like things are happening and going the way they are supposed to happen. So when there's some time when things, or you get that hiccup and it's like, okay, no, I didn't plan on that happening or going the way that it did. And so it's totally outside of what you thought, or it might have been something totally outside of your control. But it was already planned. It was in divine order for it to happen.
Yeah,
And,
because it's like the momentum already been there for it to happen. It's like, it might have been something that you was thinking or feeling.
mm-hmm.
Who be saying it? But you know how they say, like, it's like really being careful for, like, like what you asking for, what I mean? Because how I say, like, you might say, like that you want something, or what I mean, something, but the universe may move something else in order for you to get that thing. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes,
Even though
yes,
you might be like, well, dang, I didn't mean to lose that in order to get this. You know what I'm
yes.
saying? Even though I wanted this, I didn't know that it was going to be at but yeah,
Right,
so it's like, it's just the way that things will kind of move, what I mean, in order for, what you manifesting to, to take place.
right. You have to be careful. You have to be careful. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So, hubby wants to jump in and say something,
Hey,
or
hey.
according to our sister talk in our conversation.
Yeah.
You want to start over, let him in
I
first.
just wanted to say,
Hey, bro.
hey, I say that divine orders. Sometimes you want to follow your mind and not your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I followed my heart many years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I was told to go to Cheltenham to a friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine's, who's no longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I met the love of my life, my beautiful
Oh,
wife, TB.
yes.
Yeah, and that was by divine order. So I just wanted to
Yes.
get thank you, baby.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. I love it. All that
Yes.
divine order, divine synchronicity and stuff. You know, that was
Yes.
a divine situation, Mika.
What's definitely divine
It
situation?
was.
Yeah. So I was like, now I gotta talk about it. Now I gotta talk about it,
Yeah.
right?
Tell the
So,
people.
like a divine plan could come in so many different realms. So, like hubby just chimed in because we always talk about this. It's always our inside joke about the divine order, about things happen the way they were supposed to happen, even though we neither one of us expected it or understood it at the time. So, long story short, so he came to a neighborhood that I happened to be residing in. So the reason I was residing there was because I was at that time in a relationship, okay, and it wasn't like the best. It was not the best, but I was put in that situation for a reason, and I never understood that. I never understood, like, okay, so why did I leave like my old neighborhood to reside in this new neighborhood with someone that I felt was my person, or that I felt was compatible with me, and it turned out not to be. Hello, thank you from India.
Mhm.
But during this whole like relationship, I was like, man, like, why did you have me like uproot like my whole life, you know, to
Mhm.
be here and things are not going the way it was planned, like the way
Mhm.
that, you know, the other person and I had talked about, like we had these plans and then the plans just started shifting and it was like, all right, you know, it's not making sense. It's not making sense, right? And I kept saying like, wow, for this, I could have like stayed in my old like neighborhood, not uproot my whole life and change things around to start this new life with this person for it to fall apart and
Right.
crumble, right? Like it was like, oh my god, like why I can't like wrap my head around it. I could not wrap my head around it, and I was like, it's not making sense, right? It's really not making sense to me, right? So, you know, as time was going on, I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm over it. I'm over it. I was like, this was a waste of my time. And I'm not talking about a little bit of time. Like I'm talking about like years, right? I'm like, this is a waste of my time. But I had that aha awakening moment to like, all right, I'm not wasting any more of my time. Like I've already like uprooted my life. You know, I've already dedicated so much of my time in my life to this relationship. It's clearly not working. We're not aligned. Our values are not aligned anymore. We're not compatible. You know, like it may have started out in the beginning, but you know, like when you're in something new and you have all these hopes and dreams, and you know, you
Yep.
think, oh my god, like this is my person, and da da da. You know,
Yeah.
so I was like, okay. So in the beginning, like it felt like it was like aligned, and this was, you know, who I was supposed
Mhm.
to be with, right? So when, like I said, when things just started to shift, and I just felt like, okay, I'm done. Like it's time to like move on. Like now I'm ready to just relocate and start my life over again after I've already dedicated so many years to this relationship.
Mhm.
But in the midst of that, right, while I'm setting myself up to move on and start a new life, that's when my now hubby, right, he gets thrown into the mix, right? So I'm like, all right, it just so happened, like he said, like a dear friend of him was actually living next door. Hey, Tanya, thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you being here. So
Mhm.
this happened to be, um, you know, getting work done in the house next door, right? So, needless to say, your brother-in-law, right? This is now, you know, my husband. He was assigned like hired to do the work at this
Yes.
next door to actually where I was residing. Even though I was going to be moving from where I was actually living at that moment, so it was already in the works. Already,
Mhm.
like it's just waiting, like for like settlement and stuff because I had already picked out a home to move into, and you know, everything was lining. The ducks were
Yep.
lining. It was just playing the waiting game at this point. Like, okay, you
Yes.
know, if anybody ever bought a house and you're in this the whole process you had to go through, you know, you put
Yes.
to
Take
and
a
you
couple
gotta go
months.
through months before you can actually move into this home. So meanwhile,
Right.
while I'm waiting to move into my new home, and I've already picked, I was still residing, okay,
Mhm.
at my current location. Even though I was not in a relationship anymore, it was just kind of like playing the waiting game. So I'll just be
Yeah.
here until settlement, right? But may
Right.
I remind you, Charlie gets thrown in the mix. So he's doing work next door to the house that I was actually living in. So it was just like I said, when I see divine order, you know, I'm hearing all this noise going on. I'm like, oh my god, like this is so annoying. Like I can't wait until I'm out of here. I can't wait to move. I ain't gotta hear all this banging because it was just like so loud, so annoying.
Mhm.
I was like, you know, the people next door are having work done, you know, stuff. I was like, oh my god, like I'm like, I ain't gonna be here too much longer. I only got like
Yes.
got a few more months before I'm gonna be out of here. So I just happened to come out one day and I'm like, I see him out there working. I was like, oh, so you're the one out here making all this noise.
I
You know
know.
what? And I don't know why I feel compelled to say that, right?
Uh-huh.
It was like months, like a frustration building up, you know. And I was like,
Yes.
oh, but I could never see the person that was doing all the banging next door, right? That was doing all
Uh-huh.
the construction next door, right? So I'm like, so you're the one that's out there making all this noise, right? You know, but said it like in a fun, like giggly way, right? Because
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God, this is good looking too. Like I was like, all right, I finally get to see the dude that's next door making all the
Uh-huh.
He was like, that would be me, like that, right? I was like, oh, okay, right. So, and then I didn't even think nothing of it. When I said it, I didn't even think anything of it, right? So I'm like, ooh. So days go by. So I'm like, all right, I started seeing him and noticing him more and more. And it's like, hello, how are you doing? And they just started like that friendly, like, hi, how's it going? And stuff, right? But
Mhm.
not knowing that was going to be my husband.
Right.
That was going to end up being my husband. But it was like, and like it was like one of those things, like he was thinking the same thing, like, oh my God, like, all right,
Mhm.
I've seen this one. So apparently he saw me, but he didn't like I guess he was thinking like, okay, well, I know, it's somebody there, so I didn't want to, intrude or whatever. But he was not knowing that I was in the process of like about to move and all this other stuff.
Right. Mhm.
But I was like, oh my God. So now that I think about the big picture, I'm like, wow. So I needed to uproot my old like surroundings and old neighborhood to be at this place,
Mhm.
at this particular moment with this person. Okay.
Yep.
Although
Mhm.
we were not clearly not compatible anymore at the end of the day, it was just not working. But
Mhm.
it was like the divine synchrony was like, okay, I need you to hold on, hang in,
Right.
right,
Right.
hang in
Mhm. It was
there,
like, just wait a minute, be patient.
right, right,
Be
right.
patient. Mhm.
Just hang in there. It's a bigger plan. It's outside of you. It's outside of you.
Right.
Okay. And
Mhm.
what I didn't realize, that the most important part, that it wasn't supposed to work out with that
Yeah.
individual. It wasn't supposed to. It,
Right.
it was all part of the bigger plan. Like we just needed you to
Mhm.
be there. We just needed you to be
Yeah.
in that area. I mean, we needed Charles to be where he was so y'all could make that connection. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Right.
Yeah.
So that's always our joke. It was like, okay, if I had left a month or
Mhm.
two earlier, or if I didn't just like break the ice and say something when I saw you, then
Or because you remember like how you was there and he was like still, it was trying to get back with you because you was still in the house and he was kind of looking at it like, I remember when you was like, I mean, he was trying to make sure you wasn't seeing other people and stuff. You know what I mean? Like what if you would have got back with him? Like he was
ah,
trying to get you back. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like he'd have been taking up that space and then it would have been no room for Charlie.
I
You know what I'm
know,
saying? So it's like, yeah, like just the divine order of how things were supposed to go,
yes,
and it just worked out so lovely.
it's
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like y'all got this beautiful story that is so funny.
it, it's so hilarious when I think about
Yeah.
it. Like just be saying that, it was like, oh man, and it just opened up a whole world. But like I said, I was in a place where I was just like, okay, all right, waiting for a settlement to happen, waiting for settlement, you know,
Yeah.
because that way so
Yeah.
I can be gone, okay. And I'm
Mhm.
like, when I'm just thinking about supposed settlement would have happened months prior or something like that,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So when I
Y'all would have
talk
missed each
about
other.
right. I'm saying when I talk about the divine plan, divine order, I was like, it was just supposed, it was just like meant to happen. It was meant to be.
Mhm.
It was already there. And we just needed everything to like align the way it was supposed to
Yeah.
be. So it was
Wow. And see, Mika, and it's like I feel like with that understanding, we don't have to ever be upset about anything.
that part. That
You know
part.
what I'm saying? It's
That
like
part.
it's just being like, okay, all right, this is happening. I'm being slowed down because of this. Or, I mean, even if it's like, sometimes it's a lesson that we need to learn. So it's like, yeah, I really do be like trying not to have any regrets about anything. It just be like, all right, it was meant to be that way. I needed that so that this could happen so that I could be where I am now. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh, and I think it takes a lot of growth and understanding to like get to that point. You know?
Where it really like because just growing up the way that we grew up, I used
Yes.
to always be having those like, why me? Why is this? Why
Why
is
is it
she my mother? Why is he my father?
Ah, mm-mm,
You know
mm-mm.
what I'm saying? Just, in my youth, I just really used to be like going through that so much. Or sometimes when I talk to people and, or they hear my story, and but I'd be like, I'm not even mad at it. You know what I mean? It'd be like, like I had her as my mom so that I could learn this. You know what I mean? I had him as my dad so that I could get firsthand preview of what a real man dog is like. You know what I'm saying? So I can see how bad men can be. I saw, what I mean, she could have her and my mama, so I could learn to be the total opposite. It was like, yeah, I
Okay.
just had to turn those things around so that it wouldn't be like, I don't just be a product of it and do the same thing.
Right, 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 right.
But yeah, I think it's just really important to learn from, those things so that they don't, wear on you.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Like when I think about, like you say, like when you think about like the order, like instead of like getting mad and upset about it, it was like, okay, no matter how it went, okay, but
Mm-hmm.
it might not have felt good to sit in it,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
like it's those whys, like, oh my God, like why in the world is this happening to me, or why?
Yes.
It's all in divine order. Like it's all
Right.
part of the plan, right? And like
Mhm.
I said, like it took me like a while to like start to realize that it's a bigger plan outside of me. You might
Right.
want something or see something so bad, and then it turns away. Like, wait a minute, why? Why
Mhm.
did you go there? That wasn't what I was thinking or expecting, because it wasn't meant for you to. Like it's out of your
Mhm.
hands at this point. Like
Yes.
it's a whole bigger plan. It's a whole bigger plan, and then
Yes.
then they talk about like the divine purpose, right?
Mhm.
Like they said, the divine purpose like refers to this to specific intention or the reason behind the divine order,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
just that like God or a similar divine entity has a plan or a goal for creation or for humanity that our lives are a part of that larger plan, right? Right.
Mhm.
So that our purpose, we are part of a larger plan, right?
That's like like when you have a calling or
Yeah,
something, and you know
yeah,
how it's like
yeah,
sometimes it's like you could be trying not to do something, but it's like you keep getting pulled back to it. You know what I mean? Somehow it keep coming back around to you. It's
yes,
like
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, yes. That's when we go to your divine purpose. You have a purpose. You're part of a larger plan, right? And like how you
Yeah.
said, like I always thought for the longest time, I was like, what is my purpose? What's my purpose, right? Because like
Mhm.
I'll be a part of something, and I'll be like, okay, but then I'll get pulled back to something else, right?
Mhm.
So like that goes like starting off like with like me in education. Like I'm like, okay, so I and early on, like I felt like my purpose was to like teach or you know be in children's lives, educate children. But then I
Mhm.
steered from it, right? For a number of years, because it was like when like your nieces and nephew were younger, it was like, okay, I did the whole school entity thing, right? Then I was like, okay, I was like, no, this is not for me, right? So I moved into a whole nother career, right? To a whole nother career for years and years and years, right? But then it was like that part of me was like, okay, started missing that old life, like, okay, like man, like I feel like something's missing. Like I have
Mhm.
desire to like educate and teach and like get wisdom and knowledge, because I feel like that I've learned so much and that I just want to like
Mhm.
share and give it, right? And
Yeah.
getting right back into education, right? So
Mhm.
I'm like like it was like my purpose like all along is like whether I feel like it or not, that it was my purpose. Is like, why did they call me back to it? Like why did they call
Uh-huh.
me back right? It's like my life is like every day I be like, Lord Jesus, why? My Lord. Hey, I'm the fucker. Thank you for being here. I'm just saying, I'm like, of all the things you could have done in the world, why?
Mhm.
But it was like, it's like it was just something drew me back into it. It is like, as much as I
Yeah.
complain and gripe about it, and be like, Lord, have mercy. It's like at the end of the day, I was like, I do enjoy teaching and educating. It's just all the other
Yeah,
go along with it.
I
It's like
hear you.
the attitude. You can
Mhm.
keep the whining. You can keep all the other stuff. It's like just let me. If I could just let me teach you and be like, okay, peace out, love you, bye.
Mhm. And but it's like, and this is the way of, they said teaching and educating though too, you know what I mean? So it's like you doing it just kind of in a different way.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. When I was younger, I remember I used to think that I wanted to be a doctor.
Mm,
Um, but I had realized, like, because I remember the first time being asked what did I want to be when I grew up.
mm-hmm.
And well, in school, in like second grade or something. Like I can remember other times where how like sometimes like I remember being younger and they make you feel like your answers are silly if you say a singer, dancer, artist, or something like
Yeah,
that.
yes,
So
yes,
I
yes. Sure.
remember yeah, saying that I wanted to be a doctor. And I remember
Mm,
she asked me why, and I was like, I don't know. I said, I just want to make people feel better.
yes.
So it wasn't so much that I wanted to be a doctor, but it's that I wanted to make people feel better.
Right,
You
right,
know what I'm
right,
saying? And
right.
so, but as I got older, I realized like through music, through entertaining, through my personality, you know what I'm saying, through therapy work, or what I mean, is making people feel better. Like is many ways to make people feel good.
Absolutely,
You know what I'm
absolutely,
saying? And stuff. And so it's
absolutely.
like, yeah, but I realized, but I always felt like that was just like that thing about me, so when I'm around people, like, I like to cheer people up, you know what I mean? I like to, bring some energy that's going to make you laugh, or, stuff like that. When I saw mommy today, did I tell you? Yeah, yeah, I told you. I know I told you earlier.
Yeah,
So I took her some fruit, Mika. She was tearing this fruit up. This
yeah,
grapefruit, the way she was going in, and it just made me feel so good because she be trying to be so grumpy, but
yeah.
she couldn't help but like laugh and smile when she was, because she loved them grapefruit. So when she got
Uh,
done, right, and so she like, all right, let me lay down. And I'm like, all right. So I was like picking with her and stuff, like, all right, I'm coming back to see you. And she like, all right, well, I'm asleep until then, But it was like just to get her laughing and
mhm.
smiling. And the nurse came in and was like talking with me and stuff, and was telling me how she was upset because she had cleaned her and stuff. But we
Uh-huh.
we were just talking and everything and stuff, you know what I mean? But it was like, but just getting her laughing, it just
Yeah,
meant so much to me today because I told you
yeah,
she was
yeah.
really upset that her roommate is gone.
Right,
And
right,
so,
right.
but it was like, but just to get some laughter out of her, it was like, oh my God, she just laughed. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
Yeah, but
give
yeah, I
thanks.
know,
Yes.
right? A
I
big
felt
shift from the other
accomplished.
day. Yes, yes,
I
yes.
felt
Like,
accomplished. Like, oh, I gotta laugh.
gotta
Yeah.
laugh. Hey, hey, Mom, thank you for coming in. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
know y'all met over a parking space. So in the chat, I got my bonus mom. Her lovely, lovely stuff is in the chat. Yes, yeah, that's a funny story too. How
Yeah.
her and my dad met, right? So just a parking space led to them getting being married and being together for many wonderful years, and
Yes.
he gaining a bonus mom out of the deal. Yeah, sure, sure, sure. It's funny, like things happen in divine order. It definitely does. It's just those little minute things. Like we were talking about, it could be like the smallest little detail that could
Yeah.
lead to a random event, right? That's that small little thing, right? Like needing a
Mhm.
parking space ends up it being finding your person out of it, right? You know,
Yeah. Like you
and
said, only God.
oh my
Yep.
God, right, right, and that's like about it. My husband was talking about how it was just like us being at that place at the same time, and it's like you don't understand it. And I mean, I
Yeah.
struggled with it for years. Like, oh my God, like this was a waste of my time. Like I was like
Mhm.
literally upset. Like, man, like I wasted all this time in these years. Like I could have been stay where I was. I could have been moved on. But it was like, okay,
Mhm.
chill, relax.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just
Mhm.
things just like changed and shifted. But now that I sit back and think about it, I was like, okay, yeah, I had to like be still, sit in it for a while, even though it didn't feel
Yeah.
comfortable. I didn't
Mhm.
like what was going on. But look what came out of it. Just by me sitting still and just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna go
Right.
slow. My doors are about to open.
Mhm.
What they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
But
I remember that too when you was there and you was like, "Man, I can't wait till my, like the clothes on my house so I can get out of here." You know what I
ah,
mean? Yep,
yeah,
yep. You was
yeah,
ready. Yeah, but
yeah.
you was patient. I
I
remember.
was patiently waiting.
Yep.
Patiently.
Yep.
And child, I was like, the day settlement happened, it was like, okay, I was going, and it was like no return.
And
Yeah,
you didn't let him rush you. You didn't let him bother you. You was just like, all right, look, like I don't care what he doing over there. I'm gonna take whatever time I need to do what I need to do.
that part. That
Yep.
that part.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. So it's just fun, like, because now we forever have this story and this connection about the plan being much greater than us, much greater than us. But yeah, but we were talking about like the purpose, like yeah, like your purpose. Your purpose is
Mhm.
a part of a plan. Like you might not even had no idea or be thinking about like
Mhm.
where you are, what you're doing in your life, but it was like, no, it's part of that plan. Like this is what you're supposed to be doing, right? Like
Yeah.
prime example, we're on this platform,
Mhm.
YouTube, in front of you guys, right? On this
Mhm.
Sunday, okay? Ask me maybe a year or so ago, would I be doing this, right?
Mhm.
I'd be on this platform talking to you on Sunday Sister Talk. No, never thought. Never
Yeah.
saw it. Never saw it. Right? But it was all part of the purpose. It was all part of a bigger plan. So because of my love to like educate and talk and bring information, like this was another way to like do,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah. So everything happens like in divine order, and everything has a purpose. Like whether you see it or understand it or
Yeah.
not, everything has purpose.
Yeah.
Everything
What
has
I was
purpose.
about to say, it's like, I think, that's why, you want to walk in grace or something, you know what I mean, kind of thing, because it's, you know what I mean, like just in your alignment so that, so that things is falling properly in place for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's like when you out of alignment, what I
Yes.
mean? It's almost like, and it seems like that make things harder because then, it's like things still be coming for you, but it's almost like the universe is trying to push you into like where you supposed to be if you ain't paying attention, you
Yes.
know, and
Mm-hmm.
it could just, things do seem harder.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? When you out of alignment because, it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like them shifts be jagged instead of
Mm.
smooth. And,
Right.
them transitions don't be as smooth,
Right.
but yeah, but like
Right.
when you're in alignment, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and and you listening, you paying attention, you know what I'm saying? You following your intuition and,
Mhm.
doing the things that you're supposed to do, things flow smoother.
Mhm. 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 Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So they were saying like when you like finding meaning in it, right? Like
Yeah.
understanding divine order and purpose can help individuals find that meaning and the directions in their lives, right? So
Mhm.
like that's what I've been talking about like throughout this whole life. It's like when I understood it, you
Mhm.
know, like the order things were happening outside of my control or happening the way they're supposed to happen. It
Right.
allowed me to embrace, right? Like fall back. It's
Yeah.
it's a bigger plan.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like
Mhm.
once you have that understanding that it's a bigger plan, like outside of you, you
Mhm.
know, it's like that's when it's like I think like things start to like really align because you just say fall back,
Mhm.
let it flow, right?
Yes.
See where the universe is taking you, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I know that for me, like it's like a good feeling. It is. Like when you stop trying to
Uh-huh.
control the steps or the aspects in your life and just let it flow,
Yes,
right?
let go and let God.
Right?
Do it. Yes.
Just let it flow. Like when people say let go and let God, like that's for a reason. Like sometimes
Right.
you step on your own toes, or you step in your way, you know,
Yes.
right? Right?
Yes. Yep. When they be like, when somebody say like ain't nothing blocking you but yourself.
Blocking you but yourself, blocking you from yourself. Like I said, it's a real thing of being able to like block your own blessings, getting in your
Right.
own way, getting in your own way. Like
Yeah.
so, sometimes things might shift or deter. Like if instead of getting upset about it, it'd be like, oh darn it! Like now I gotta try to that little detour might be leading to a bigger plan. Like let
Right.
it flow, right? Let it flow.
Indeed.
Right.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah,
I couldn't find my gong drum for a little while. It
yeah.
was Yeah, it was I don't even want to tell y'all. Like, I mean, I just had to do some cleaning up and some organizing. And well, so first I found my little mallets. Okay, all right. So you know
Okay.
what? I did know where this was. So it's like I knew where it was, but I had kind of forgot because it had been a while because I couldn't find my mallets.
Okay.
And but then like
Mhm.
I just happened to be cleaning up, and then all of a sudden I found these. They were in the back of I have my amp. You know how so like some amps like in the back it's like just this little like cubby area where you can put like the cords and stuff.
Okay.
That's where my mallets were.
What?
I just so happened to move something and just look behind there. I don't know even what made me look behind the thing, but I
Uh-uh.
just looked in there because I'm expecting nothing to be back there except just the cord
That's the
to
chorus.
the amp.
Right.
And my
Right.
mallets was back there. And I was like, when
Awesome.
did I put those back there? I was so glad that I started moving stuff around because now I can play. Now I can play my drum
Yes.
again. And I'm so
Yes.
excited. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. But
Love that.
yeah.
Love that. Hello. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for being here on
Uh-huh.
our People Talk Sunday. Yes. Look at that. Look at that. Everything happened in divine order, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Love that. But yeah, we were just talking about the understanding the meaning of it, okay? And everything happens like in order and on purpose, right?
Right.
Once you understand it, like you'll just start seeing things shift and things start to align. And it's like same thing, like say living in harmony, right?
Yeah.
Accepting divine
Mm.
order can lead
Yeah.
to a sense of and harmony
Yeah.
as individuals
Mm-hmm.
align themselves with the divine plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Harmony, right? That's all part of the acceptance piece. Like I was just talking about earlier about being able to accept it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
although things might not have seemed like it was going okay or going to my plan, right?
Yes.
And it's frustrating, but it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's a big plan. It has to be. And look at that.
Wow. Yeah, that's like something, it's like, stop trying to control everything so much.
Right,
You
right,
know.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Allow it to happen.
Don't
Mhm.
don't control it. Just understand. Like I think once you come to that understanding, like that's what we were talking about. Just understanding it. Understanding
Yeah.
we're all part of a larger plan. Whether we know it or understand it or like it, we're part of a
Right.
larger plan, right? Everything
Mhm.
plans out. Our lives are already planned out, whether we know it or not, right? You know,
Right.
it's definitely happening the way it's supposed to happen, whether
Mhm.
that's in a good way or a bad way. But sometimes I feel like tragic things or things that are not good to like sit in, like
Mhm.
toughest parts of the plan, or the toughest parts of the plan, you know, because like you said, like us growing up, like we had a weird situation,
Mhm.
right, growing up, and I don't think like neither one of us understood it at the time. It was like, okay,
Mhm.
why is this happening? Why are we going through this? But it was already part of a larger plan that led us to the woman that we've come to today.
Yeah.
So I feel like that if those things didn't happen or take place back then, who knew?
Exactly. I wouldn't be all
Okay,
thorough like I am now, you know what I'm saying?
okay, okay, right. It's
I'd be
like,
like, who knows? Yeah, like if I'd have just stayed with my dad or, you know what I mean, what that would have been like. I would be
okay,
crazy.
okay, okay. Like it's like
Mhm.
these plans. Like you say, you live in harmony once you can like accept it and live in that that peace, right?
Yeah, acceptance is the amazing thing.
Acceptance. Um,
Mhm.
then it said take your responsibility, like recognizing divine
Yeah.
can inspire you to take responsibility for your actions too. You know,
Mhm.
so taking responsibility for your actions, like not stepping in the way, not stepping in the
Mhm.
way when things start shifting. Like it's like I think as humans, we have that natural instinct to say, okay, I need to stop this or control the situation.
Mhm.
Like want to take control naturally, right?
Yeah.
Right. But sometimes in doing that, it could shift your whole world,
Mhm.
and it might not turn out exactly as you expected.
Or sometimes you don't even see other doors that's open because you're only looking at one door.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You're only looking at things going one way. Oh, it got to happen like this, and then this happens. And then it'd
Right.
be like these other possibilities that you don't even pay attention to because you're only thinking like, no, it got to be like this way. I need
Yes.
this to happen for that to happen,
Yes.
kind of thing. And so it's like, we block our own blessings sometimes
Mm-hmm.
just because, what I mean? You know how they say like it's like there's man's plan and then there's God's plan.
Yes. Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
Yes. 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 Yes.
yeah, it's like you gotta stay open to the possibilities.
Be open to the possibilities, and it says like recognizing the divine purpose, like recognizing then it causes you to take responsibility, right?
Mhm.
Somewhere where you're not happy, follow the path that is set for you. Step out of the word people say step out on faith, but God has got us. Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
Step it out on faith. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Mhm.
You hear that a lot. You hear that a lot. People say I'm just stepping out on faith. Like,
Right.
it's a plan, it's a bigger plan outside of me. And it might not be
Mhm.
in that moment, but you're stepping out on faith that there is a bigger
Yeah.
plan.
And
It's still part of
sometimes people around you don't understand it. Sometimes you don't understand it yourself. But you
Ah
just moving with your feeling. You like,
it's
look,
moving with you.
I just feel like I gotta do this.
Right, right. Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's funny because like I always talk about you and like how inspiring you are because when you went on your path, like I feel like you had a plan, but you were part of a bigger plan. Like so,
Yeah.
you want to talk about your plan and how you ended up to like where you are now? Because I feel like your plan definitely shifted because it was a bigger
Um,
purpose for you.
yeah. Oh, well, so like I mean, you know what, because so many things had just happened. Um, what's that? Like, how far back you want me to go?
Far back you want to go?
Um, well, first off, I mean, we could say, well, all right, well, I'm a military vet. You
Yes,
know what I mean? I ended up going to the army.
yes.
That was after I realized that I was going to have to wait another year to go to college
Hmm.
because, I had left my dad's house. And so, they was like, being independent, I couldn't go to college that year. So I just went on and was like, all right, well, I'm going to the military. Things was happening in Philadelphia that I didn't like. So it was like, all
Hmm.
right, I need to get out of here. So
Hmm.
that was like me running away from home when I to the military. And
Right.
but yeah, but then came out, I thought I was gonna stay in there forever. Had many issues in the military. Stuff that, traumas and things and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
that just forced me out of there, you know.
Right.
And like
Right.
I said, that was after I really thought I was gonna like stay in and retire.
Tire.
But
Uh-huh.
yep, got out of there, didn't know what I was gonna do, and started modeling and stuff, and it was still just out here in the world just trying to figure it out. But then I ended up somehow I ran into my Aunt Kitty, and she's like, "Oh, you've been in the army, you need to go down to the school district." The day that I went see divine order, divine
That one.
synchronicity. The
Right.
day I went down there, I just happened it was just the person that I talked to at the front desk.
Mhm.
Super helpful, you know what I mean, told me about school police jobs and stuff like that, and I got the job like that. It was like a week later, 2 weeks later or something like that, I was starting.
See?
And like I said, and it was just for not having a job for a long time after coming out of the military to suddenly, like I said, I run into my aunt 2 weeks later and I got a job
See? See? Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah. And then while so I'm doing that, but I'm not even doing school police. I think I hurt my wrist. Next, I'm like light duty. I'm at the desk, not even doing school police work for years. It ended up
Uh-huh.
I ended up doing like payroll and stuff,
Okay.
working as a payroll clerk for the school police department.
Nice.
And so then from there, it was because that's all like in the human services field, I meet somebody who's like, hey, you can get a master's degree, you know what I mean? Because you got so many years of human service experience. And I'm like, what, really? You know what I mean? Not having a bachelor's degree, I go in and it's like just in time. Because let me see, I was talking to him like in like the spring
Mhm.
and got into the program, got everything, did all my stuff, got into the program, was able to start that August.
See?
You know.
See? Yeah.
Yep, yep. Like I said, so it like I said, just the way that things were just falling into place. Be at this place, meet this person, say that. And this is the acting on it. Is the
Yes.
acting on it when these
Yes.
things happen, when these ideas happen, when somebody say something, when it be, it's like go ahead and make the phone call, don't put stuff off. Go
Yes.
ahead and do it right then and there, because that's how it was. It's like I just did it and like they don't even do that program anymore. That year, my graduating class was like the last one. Like they don't even do that program anymore. So yeah,
Wow.
it
Wow.
was an accelerated master's program. So that was
Wow.
how I got
Wow.
my master's degree in human
Mm.
services.
Mm.
Um, yep. But even like with that, it was like the I don't know, so it was more so things that I was thrilled that I did it, you know what I mean? It was such a wonderful opportunity. I learned a lot, but it was also one of those things where it was like, all right, I'm doing this because, these are the type of things that you're supposed to do. I
Right.
had always felt bad about not going to college, so it was like, all right, let me go ahead and get this degree and
Mhm.
stuff. But then I only I worked in the field for just a small amount of time, you know what I mean? I realized it was still a lot of things that I was dealing with, just with my own self, with personally and stuff. And
Mhm.
and still just trying to figure out my way. It was still like, okay, that like I was like, all right, good, I got this degree, but that's still not it. It was
Right.
still something that was missing, and I was still trying to put these pieces together. And it was art. It was
See?
art, it was music, you know what I mean? But it was one of those things because my dad was always like, "Oh, yeah, I don't want you being no starving artist type of stuff," you know what I mean? Because I was really into art as a
Uh-huh.
teenager, drawing. My art teacher was trying to get me in Kappa and stuff,
Mhm.
and I used to be asking, begging. I used to be begging for a guitar,
Mhm.
and he wouldn't get me one. But that was his whole thing. You ain't gonna be a starving artist, you're not gonna be a
So,
starving musician.
yep. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was like, but then lo and behold, you know what I mean, I had a friend who had been interested in me for a long time that was an artist and that was trying to get me to do art. There was a couple other people that was like, oh, because I was making little stuff. And so I finally had started doing it. And once
Mhm.
I had like started doing it, and and what he said to me was, well, be a successful artist. And I was
Right.
like, whoa, I hadn't
Uh-huh.
thought about that. I hadn't
That's
thought
right.
about that,
Right.
and
That's
stuff
right.
that yep. But it was like, I just started that just really gave me the courage to really move forward with it and to stop being afraid, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it was like it was just that phrase, and then just giving it time. Yeah, I had left my job and was like, all right, like I'm gonna figure this out and work things out on my own.
Mhm.
But it was like, me leaving the job and stuff, I just had so much going on and then dealing with my son, who's autistic and at the time. Well, he's still, I
Mhm.
mean, he's autistic, period.
Yeah.
But But yeah, it was like just already a lot of stress and everything and stuff. But and always, it was like when I realized, like I said, from that stress and things, music, art and stuff has always been therapy for me. So
Mhm.
when I started feeling like, okay, those things like, all right, like what is making me feel better? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Those
Right.
things and realize how wonderful they are and how they make other people feel better. And that's what
Mhm.
really got me into like the sound healing and stuff, you know what I mean? And it's because I was using this stuff on myself. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I seen
Mhm.
how what it was doing for me and I wanted to share it, you
Yes,
know,
that
and
part.
stuff. And so and you know what I mean? And it's like and then just really just like studying music, studying sound and the effects of it. And then I started writing about it, and I had actually went back to school because I was like, all right, how can I combine this? You know what I mean? So it was like, all right, I was studying music therapy and creative arts therapy and what I mean, just how we are affected by these things, how we are affected by expression, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And just sometimes it's just simply by simply being able to express ourselves. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
and how when we feel all bottled up when we don't express ourselves and what I mean sometimes and it comes out, in these other ways,
Yep.
you know. But
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, but it was like just the way that the music and the art and stuff just came, it was almost like just inescapable. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so it always felt like I used to think that all the time, like, what if I'd have, done it? If I'd have, when I was a teenager, what if I'd have, what I mean? It used to always be like that. But I was like, it just wasn't meant.
It
Things
was
was
not
meant
meant.
to flow just the way that they were, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Uh,
And
mhm.
yeah, because yeah, yeah, and and so and it's like, and I appreciate my journey. You know what I'm saying, and where I am now, and because I'll be like, I still have all this vitality. I still have a lot of things that I can do, a lot of things I can share, a lot of things that I can give.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and what I mean, my message is in my music. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
People
Yes.
be like, "When the
Yes.
album come out?" I'm like, I don't know.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, but I love being a part of, like the musical Free No Longer Bound. It's all about
Yes. Yes.
Juneteenth.
Yes.
And what's so funny with that? Because I kept on saying last year before I got with this musical, I kept on saying I was like, I am allowing myself to be unleashed.
Yes.
Just like not
Yes.
afraid
Yes.
anymore.
Yes.
You just really letting myself let go. Letting Janae out. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
not holding back and not dimming my lights anymore and what I mean was just going through all of those that type of moment for me. And so to when I found out that when he was like, yeah, what I mean, the company is called Free No Longer Bound, I was like, yes, no longer bound,
That's right. No
kind of
longer
thing.
bound.
And
Yes.
yes, it just fit
Yes.
right in with what I had been saying
Yes.
already to myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Like our style, hairstyle.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I be like, them call that's why it be feeling like a calling to me now. It just seemed like it's something I just can't stop. I can't let it go.
Mhm.
It's not like I would be able to just like quit and be like, all right, what I mean, I don't even know what else I would do now. you know.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
The- so far in it, so far in it, like definitely
Yeah.
your purpose, definitely your calling. And I feel
Mhm.
like in some aspect, like even like early on in our lives, like we always had this love of like music and just
Yeah.
dance and singing and just like
Yeah.
it made us feel good. I know it made me feel good, right?
Yes.
Like, it was just a part of us, right?
Mhm.
I always felt like that was always some type of therapy, like especially for me going through this,
Yeah.
right? Like
Mhm.
get up and dance, get up and sing. Like it made me feel good. Like no, even if
Yeah.
nobody didn't see it, like we knew we was doing, we knew it was making us feel good. And I
Yeah.
always talk about like my story of wanting to be this famous choreographer, right? I
Yeah.
love to dance, right? I was like, you couldn't tell me that I was not gonna be the next Debbie Allen. Girl, I
Yes,
talk about you a lot.
you
Girl, we
are.
got to meet you. Because I talk about you a lot. Like, you don't realize how much you inspired me, inspired my life to want
Yeah.
to be this famous dance choreographer, right?
Yes.
But you couldn't tell me back then, growing up, like as a teenager and stuff, that I was not gonna
Mhm.
do this, right? And you was gonna
Yep.
see my name at lights, right? I was gonna be the
Yep.
day Debbie Allen, right? She was
Yep.
paving the way for me to come along, right?
Yes.
And life happens, right? So,
Right.
like, hence, like TB's life. When I say me coming up on this platform is TB's life, because my life has so many different layers and
Right.
levels, right? It's like
Mhm.
I don't share a lot, but it's like, to know me, my life, my journey, right? And I always say, like, real life happens, and it does. Life be
Mhm.
life, life happens.
Every day.
So, right, you know what I'm saying? So, I just, like, although I had this plan for myself, it was not in the cards at that time, right? So I always say, dream deferred, right? So as I became an adult, I came full circle, right? So
Mhm.
where I wanted to be able to dance, be on stage, and perform, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, now is your time. Now is your
Mhm.
time, right? You wasn't ready for it back then. It was not
Right.
your time then, right? You had to go
Yes.
through all this other stuff. There was so many other different avenues and channels you had to go through before you could
Yep.
get to that moment where you
Yes.
can do what is making you happy and do what you wanted to do all those years ago, because now is the time for you to do it, right?
Yes.
So I definitely can appreciate it coming around and the universe saying, okay, I knew your heart desire back then, but right then we couldn't give it to you back then. You
Mhm.
had to wait. It was all part of a different plan. You had other things you had to do first before you
Yes.
could start dancing again on people's stage.
Yes. Yes.
Right? But,
Yes. And like you
yep.
said, and then even just like, like having children and,
Yeah. Yeah.
just all different things and stuff, what I mean?
Yes.
And so it's like, so to be able to come to this point in my life where it's like these opportunities are coming around and just be like, wow, I just be feeling so thankful, you
Yes.
know?
Yes. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it was definitely in our plan. We had a bigger purpose at that time. I know, especially for me. Like, our purpose, like, no, because you're about to be a mom and you got to do all this stuff. You got to raise little people.
Mhm.
So you can't do all that because we got a bigger
Yeah.
plan. You can't do all that if you out there traveling the world on somebody's stage.
Right,
You
right.
can't be a mom and do that at the same time. No, no, no.
Yes.
You ain't ready. We need you to do this first, right?
Mhm.
Need to, plant these seeds, grow these people brains and stuff. Like,
Yes.
in the world, make them productive members of society, all that good stuff, right?
I hear that.
Yeah, so it was like, no, we needed you to do all that, right? Right.
Mhm.
But they were saying, like, the key aspects of divine order is like having a purposeful arrangement, right?
Mhm.
The purposeful arrangement. Like it suggests that the universe and life are not random, like we were saying, but are organized and directed by a higher power. So
Mhm.
it's not random. Like, how you think, like, why does that happen? Like, that didn't seem right, or like, where did
Mhm.
that come from? It was already organized that way. Like, whether we
Right,
want
part
to
of the
believe it,
divine
right?
intelligence.
Like, whether we wanted to believe that or whatever, but it was like, yeah, it was supposed to happen, you know.
Yeah.
And not and to say, I'm not saying that to say that some things that happen, might not feel good at the time, because sometimes,
Mhm.
like things happen and you're like, oh my god, like, why, like,
Right.
why, you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
like, why. It definitely brings a lot of questions, and I feel like a lot of people like question, like, the higher power, like, especially when things happen that's not really good to sit in, you know
Right.
and it is that question as to why. And that's when you really have
Mhm.
to lean into that understanding, like, it was all part of a bigger plan, and it might not have felt
Yeah.
good, you know for it to happen, and stuff.
Mhm.
So I think that's when it really becomes into that maturity, that understanding, right?
Right.
That
Wow,
it,
it's like we're living in the unfolding of what we've already put out there.
right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? It's like, each day is like we're living in the unfolding
Hmm.
of what we've already put out there. Like our energy and our message, what we're attracting is already ahead of us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
already ahead of us. And it's like just day to day, like we're living in that unfolding
Mm-hmm.
of what we've already put out there,
Right.
you know.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but it's like that seed of who we are, those seeds that we plant, You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like they already there. Like if you plant an orange seed, you're gonna, hopefully you get those oranges. You're not gonna get apples. You know what I
Right.
mean? You planted
Right.
an orange seed. You know what I'm saying? It's like the unfolding is happening from the momentum that what you've already, what I'm saying, put out from yourself, what you've already, you're attracting that. So it's like, we have some type of, what I'm saying, not control, but we have some type of say
Mhm.
in what comes into our reality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
From what we're projecting and what I'm saying,
Right.
attracting and
Right. Right. Right.
yeah. Because
Right.
it's like, yeah, so it's like we're able to kind of like write our own narrative and shape our reality, you know, pardon me, from those things. Even sometimes when it may not seem immediate,
Mhm.
it just, we might be walking in that direction. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? We're on a
Right.
certain path, you're in a
Right.
certain flow,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Right. Right. Hello, Lessons Gaming. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. Yeah. So I think like it goes a lot along with that, like that harmony and that stability that we were talking about. Like
Yeah.
divine order, like emphasizes the importance of balance in the order, right? Of like all aspects of our life, like promoting a state of equilibrium and peace, right?
Right.
Right. So yeah, it's like, just having that alignment, right? So they said, and we kind of talk about, we kind of piggybacking on it, like the divine order, like reflects the divine plan, but it's like often understood as manifestation, like what you were
Yeah.
just saying, like we have some level of control, right?
Hmm.
That's about a manifestation like of a divine plan, like so like ensuring that everything, every function is like a predetermined purpose. So sometimes, like you said, be careful like what you're manifesting too, right?
Hmm.
Like you can cause a shift in that divine plan, right?
Right.
Right. Right. So and I laugh about it, like how like I manifested being able to see my daughter, but the whole scenario, like, so for those that are in the chat that missed our live last week, like I talked a lot about the power of manifestation and how I manifested,
Yes.
something that I really wanted that I put in the universe, right? But
Yes.
it's like, okay, it may or may not have been part of the plan, right? But
Hmm.
I'm feeling like it was. And by me
Yeah.
like manifesting, just like kind of stamping it, this is what I want, okay? This is what I want to happen, that it made the plan come to fruition and come to life.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So they were saying that like it provides the structure and the purpose. Like so it does the framework, right? For
Hmm.
understanding, right, the world and our place within it. So yeah, so divine order and purpose is like it's like so deep, right?
Yeah.
It's so deep, right?
Hmm.
But um I totally believe in the divine order and the purpose and the manifestation and stuff. We had
Yeah.
so many great stories, fabulous stories about it. Talking about different ways that divine order has taken place in our lives and our plans and the purpose and stuff, right? Like even if you don't understand it, right? But they were
Hmm.
saying like it's like ways that you could actually like tune into like the divine guidance, right? That you
Right.
could tune into it. So it was like invite the universe to guide you.
Yes.
Invite the universe to guide you.
What? I'm about to do that right now. Like, like
Yes, 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 yes,
yes, and look, and you can do that, and that's so easy to
yes,
just do that. You can like all day, what I'm saying, be like, I invite the universe to guide my words so that I'm saying the right things. I invite
yes,
the universe to guide my heart. You know what I'm
yes,
saying? I invite the
yes.
universe to guide my steps. Like,
Okay,
yes.
okay, yes, yes. Invite
I'll
the
be like,
universe
help
to
me, Lord Jesus, take the wheel.
okay. Listen, I said Lord, Jesus take the world. Invite the universe to guide you.
Yes.
Guide,
I,
right?
yes.
Right.
For
um,
real.
they say live in the present moment.
Yeah.
Live in the present moment. Right. It's a way that you can tune into your divine guidance, living
Yeah.
into the present moment, right?
Hmm.
Um, trusting your intuition.
That's a big one.
Trust your intuition.
Yes. Yes. And if you don't trust your intuition, be like, please sit still and meditate so you can learn how to trust yourself and trust your body and trust your intuition. You
Okay.
know.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That part. That part. I am big on my intuition. Like it's just something. It's just something about something that rattles in my gut and in my spirit. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Real in tune with myself. And it's like in a sense I can speak louder than anything for me.
Yeah.
Right. It's something that's speaking to me so strong and so profound. It's like I stop and I listen. I listen.
Yes.
I was like, this is speaking to me for a reason. Right. Now I
Yes.
just need to
Mm-hmm.
sit and be clear and get my guidance. All right. And listen
Mm-hmm.
to what it's trying to say to me. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely trusting your intuition is a way to tune into your divine guidance. Right. Like let
Mm-hmm.
the divine guide you. Right. Um, and it says keep a sign journal.
Hmm.
Keep a sign journal.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yep. To help you tune into your divine guidance, right? And then one is I'm really big on is gratitude, being grateful, right?
Yes.
Be
Yes.
be conscious of the signs that you receive, and
Mm-hmm.
don't forget to thank the universe for its guidance, right?
Yes. Yes.
Grateful, all
Yes.
the be conscious.
Mm-hmm.
This is something bigger than you. Like it's something bigger than you. Be grateful for the universe
Mm-hmm.
too, right?
Yep.
Has you and guided you to, right? And that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people think like they doing making moves on their own, things are happening because they did
Mm-hmm.
this. No, hunty. It's all
Yes.
part of the plan. It's all because the universe is guiding those steps, okay?
Right.
Aligning these things so they can happen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So always be grateful and like thankful.
Always be grateful and thankful. And you know what? So, because even when I be thinking about that, because I be believing in, you know what I mean? Like just them powers that be and that
Yes,
energy and stuff. And I feel like it
yes,
comes in many forms,
yes, it does.
jumps into people and all kind of stuff.
Yes, it
You know what I
does.
mean? And I figure that's how our angels and stuff like that be around and what I mean? But um like I be feeling like that, like just the spirits of our ancestors. You know how they be like, oh, they with you. Like
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
become part of the universe. They become part of that universal energy that is
Yes.
supporting you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so I do. I literally, and it was one of my friends that had said it one time when she was like, but I took that same thing. But she was like, she said she feel like her ancestral spirits be like, come on, baby, I got you. Like holding her hand. Like, don't even worry
Okay.
about it. Like, here, come on, honey. Oh, come
Yes.
on. No, this way. All right, now it's time to cross the street. Because you know how, like, even in the Bible, I ain't religious or nothing, but you know how it always talked about the children of God. It never said the adults of God. You know
Doesn't.
what I'm saying?
Nope.
So I
Nope.
always look at myself. I'll be like, what I'm saying? Like, the world is so like, what I mean, old and what I mean, it has, what I mean, but I'll be like, we here for this teeny little bit amount of time. You
Part.
know what I'm
That
saying?
part.
And so I'll be like, but we be thinking like we know it all,
Yes.
got
Yes.
all
Yes.
this ego and arrogance and stuff. I'll be like, look, I am a baby. I am a baby on this planet.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like Erica Badu was like the man who knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? And so that's I feel like I'm out here in the world, like, no, like, what I mean? Like I'm open to receive. I'm open to the guidance. I'll be
Okay.
like, help me. Thank you, Lord. Which way do I need to go? Help me find a parking space. It be everything. Like
Okay.
I'm
That
constantly
that part. That
like I'm
part. Yes.
constantly speaking out to the
Right.
universe. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like,
Yes.
it's my dad, it's my husband, it's my, what I mean, my best friend.
Mhm.
And,
Mhm.
because I be feeling like the spirit is listening and yeah, I hope people don't be like thinking I'm crazy and nothing like that. You know what I mean? Because you know how sometimes this stuff starts to sound a little weird. But I really but you know what I'm saying? And it helps me. It helps me to stay grounded. You know what I mean? I feel like it helps
Yeah.
me what I'm saying, with my connection just with nature and stuff, I mean, how you see on TV, the people is like listening, to nature and stuff, what I mean? But I feel like it's so real, what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like if you listen, you will be guided. What I'm
yes,
saying? You
yeah.
will get ideas. If you sit down and you like, all right, like I need, I'm trying to come up with $1 million idea or something. Like I think if you really ask those questions, you will get those answers.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
And
mhm,
stuff.
mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I feel like I was rambling. I don't know.
No, no. Listen, we're talking about like being grateful
Oh.
and like listen to those intuitions and stuff like that. Absolutely, absolutely, right.
Yeah.
And it was saying like and do like a visualization exercise, like
Yeah.
manifest. Like
Yes.
about that last week about the visual
Mhm.
that you can see it, manifest it, right?
Yes.
Like put
Mhm.
yourself in that position, right? I see
Mhm.
this happening, like this is gonna come to light and come to fruition, right? Yep.
Yes.
Yep. But that's a good way to like tune into the divine guidance, right? Right.
Yes.
Yep. I think like like the bottom line to it is just being able to like trust the plan. I understand that
Mhm.
there is a bigger plan, that is a divine order, the way things are happening. It's happened the way it's supposed to, right? Like
Yeah.
from
Trust the
smallest,
process.
yep, smallest little thing to the grandest thing. It's
Yep.
all to the divine plan, right? And
Mhm.
with your purpose, right? You might not understand with your purpose or what got you there, what led you to where you at, or why you're doing what
Mhm.
you do, right? Because it was your purpose, your divine purpose
Yeah.
was already laid out in front of you. It was just you just had to be open to the process and just follow the steps. Like you said, like you talking about like when people go to college or something, and it's like, okay, I want to be this, I want to be this, had this impact. It's like you got to make that step. Like you're open to the possibilities, right? And the God,
Mhm.
is leading you there, right? It's like, okay, so I know
Right.
when you get here, I gotta study this or I gotta do that, right?
Mhm.
Into this path or this direction, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
you're manifesting and you're open to like that guidance, because you put it out there. This is what you want to do. So now the doors are opening or the steps are being like put in front of you.
Mhm.
Just follow and take those steps, right? To get
Yeah.
to where you gotta be. Hello, Chilwood Crew. Thank you for coming in. Thank
Mhm.
you, thank you. Yes, I appreciate.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yep. So that's like our key takeaway from this, right? Just,
Mhm.
just everything has a divine order. Everything has an order.
Yeah.
We're just part of the plan. We are part of the plan, right?
Mhm.
We are part
Yeah.
of the plan,
You
and
gotta
part of
trust the process.
just the process.
Mhm.
Understand your purpose has already been already ordained for you. Your purpose is, even if you don't understand it, because it took me a long time to understand my purpose.
Yeah.
It
How
did,
about that?
right? Right.
Mhm.
Once I got that understanding, that clarity, I was like, okay, because I keep leading to this, and I keep having these thoughts about doing this or having this idea, right? I'm like,
Mhm.
must be my purpose. It has to
Yeah. I'm so glad
be,
you
right?
acted on it.
Yes, 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 yeah.
Mhm.
Like how you start something disturbing your spirit, and how you get these ideas, but you don't know how to like go forward with it and stuff. And then all of a sudden this happens, this falls in your lap, like me, like just social media just flooded I was like, okay, like I never saw myself doing this, but okay, but I've had these
Mhm.
ideas in my head and in my heart for a while, and so this is the avenue for me to do it, right?
Yes.
So, yep,
Mhm.
everything is in divine order. It's all part of a plan, right? There's a
Yeah.
bigger purpose outside of us. We're just a little
Mhm.
small piece in it. We just that little part of
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
of that plan and that purpose.
Mhm. This
Well,
is
yeah,
dope, Nika, 'cause, like, I know that people, what I mean? I know it's somebody that's watching and learning something right
that's
now. You know what I'm
that's
saying? And I love it,
no,
like, sometimes when I go and I see and I'll be like, "Yo, like, people was really, like, watching," you know what I mean? Some of the views be getting up there, and I'll be like, "Okay, people was checking us out." You know? That's
yeah. We
wonderful.
we are here
Yeah.
share our love, our wisdom, our experiences and stuff, right?
Mhm.
We're not like experts, and we're not one of those big people that think we know it all. No, we just talk about life, talk about experiences,
Mhm.
things that we know for a fact that we've been a
Yeah.
part of. Okay,
What we've
right, and
learned.
that we've learned along the way.
Yeah.
Like that's all we can do. That's all we can do is just talk about
Mhm.
what we know,
Yeah,
right?
and how
And
we've
our
been
experience.
inspired, and I know
Yeah,
that inspires other people, you
yeah,
know?
yep.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot. I come before you on Sundays and talk, and I learned a lot myself just by just by talking and digging into things
Yeah.
that I want to know and learn more about, right? And bring it to
Mhm.
you, right. I always say life is a lesson. You're never done
Yeah.
learning. Always
For
can learn
real.
something,
You know, it was
right?
the 80-something-year-old woman that told me that.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
and that was what she said. She was like, she was saying that she said you never stop. She said as long as you're alive, you keep
mhm.
on learning.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, life is a lesson I learn all the time. Never stop learning.
Mhm.
Yeah, never stop learning. But that
Yeah.
was our topic today.
Yeah.
Divine order and purpose. Divine order and purpose. Yes.
Yeah.
I totally appreciate you guys for being here. You could have been anywhere on these YouTube streets, and you were a part of our
Mhm.
live. And for that, it's all love, all love, all love. Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
thankful and grateful. So thankful and grateful.
Mhm.
Because without you and our viewers and our supporters, there would not be us. I'm TV from TV's Life. That's my lovely sister Janae Goddess Life from Artistic Healing Expressions. I always say, like, she kind of touched a little bit about her journey, but like she's all about that healing, that love and energy, right? Making people feel good, making people feel better, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Heal using that wisdom, okay? To tap into your alignment and just doing all the things that energy needs to do for you, right? Yeah. So she is definitely doing her calling. She's definitely doing her purpose. She's definitely doing her purpose. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say if you have not done anything for yourself today, please do something for you. Please do something for you.
Mhm. Love
Yeah,
on yourself.
that's right. Love on yourself.
Mhm.
Be good to you. Be good to you. Yes,
Yeah.
be good to you. Yep. But so we next Sunday is Mother's Day. So
Mhm.
we are both moms. So we're gonna be doing the Mommy's Day thing. Okay. Yep. But we will see you on the following Sunday. Okay. And
Yeah.
got to have an amazing, amazing week. And for all my moms or my mom to bees or my mommy figures, have a great, great Mother's Day.
Yes. Happy Mother's
Enjoy. Happy
Day.
Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday.
Mhm.
Hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoy. And we look forward to seeing you on the next Sister Talk Sunday.
Yes.
Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So with that being said, guys, we hope great rest of your day. And we will
Yes.
talk soon. We see you on the next live.
Peace.
Bye.